a system built to eliminate injustice, a technology trusted by billions. And at the 2026 World Cup, it failed. So what if it was never there at all? June 14th, 2026, Levi's Stadium, San Francisco Bay Area, Switzerland versus Qatar, a routine group stage match. 14 minutes in, the Swiss are awarded a penalty. The goalkeeper brings down Remo Freuler in the box. An easy call. Except, no one can confirm it's legal. The usual 3D offside graphic that fans around the world expect to see, it never appears. FIFA's semi-automated offside system has crashed. A brief technical outage, they call it. The goal stands, the penalty is scored, and 4 hours later, 4 hours, FIFA releases a statement. Gary Neville, live on ITV, doesn't hold back. It's like a dictatorship, he says. They hold the evidence and don't show us. Fans are already distrusting FIFA. And this is only day 4 of a 104-game World Cup, which raises a question no one wanted to ask. What if we removed VAR entirely, and what would this tournament look like without it? Imagine FIFA announces 48 hours before kickoff that VAR will not be used at the 2026 World Cup. No video reviews, no screen calls, no offside lines drawn in 3D space. Just a referee, 2 assistants, and 90 minutes of football played at full speed. The reaction is immediate and split right down the middle. Half the football world cheers. Players chest bump in press conferences. Managers who have spent years complaining about broken flow and manufactured delays talk about getting the game back. Fan groups that haven't agreed on anything in years unite around one word, finally. The other half panics. Lawyers for smaller nations begin preparing formal protests before a single match is played. Broadcasters who have sold billions in rights on the promise of technological precision quietly start revising their on-air scripts. And the referee associations of the world, men and women who have spent years operating in VR's shadow, suddenly realize something terrifying. After years of deferring the hardest calls to a screen in a room somewhere in Zurich, they are on their own again. But that's not the biggest problem. The first match kicks off, and within 11 minutes, there is a goal. A striker cuts inside, the ball clips a defender's arm, the referee waves play on, the goal stands. In 2024, in 2022, in every tournament since 2018, that goal would have been under review for 4 minutes before being disallowed for handball. Not today. The stadium erupts. The losing team's manager loses his mind on the touchline. Clips of the arm contact circulate online within 30 seconds of the final whistle. And here is where it gets complicated. Within the first week of group stage football, there are 17 incidents that would have triggered a VAR review under the old system. 11 of them result in decisions that go against the team that would have benefited from the technology. 3 of those teams are from Africa and Asia. The narrative writes itself. Without VAR, the big nations win. But then something unexpected happens. The game is faster, dramatically faster. The average match time for the first group stage week under this hypothetical drops by 9 minutes. Goals flow more freely. Celebrations aren't interrupted. A striker scores and runs straight to the corner flag instead of glancing nervously at the fourth official. Viewers watching at home notice something they haven't felt during a World Cup in years. They are actually holding their breath. But the real consequence comes later. By the round of 16, a pattern has emerged that splits football into 2 camps, and neither side is entirely wrong. The first camp sees what the romantics always promised. Football at its most human. A referee's mistake in a quarterfinal doesn't get corrected. It gets remembered. It becomes folklore. A bad call that costs a nation a World Cup semifinal becomes a moment that fans are still talking about in 20 years. Controversial, emotional, unforgettable. The second camp sees something darker. Without VR, simulation is back. And it never really left. By the knockout stage, the tournament's leading victims aren't strikers taking contact. They're actors. Players who learned in their teens that one convincing fall in the box is worth more than 90 minutes of honest football. Without a second set of eyes in a room somewhere reviewing every frame, the referee becomes the most powerful figure in the stadium again. And this is where things get truly interesting, because the referees know it too. Pressure on match officials reaches levels not seen since the pre-VAR era. Death threats, social media campaigns targeting individual referees by name. One official is escorted from a stadium by armed security after a controversial red card decision in a South American knockout match. Meanwhile, football purists argue that this is exactly how the game should feel. Raw, imperfect, alive. And here is the uncomfortable truth that no one in either camp wants to say out loud. VAR didn't create controversy at the World Cup. It just moved the moment at which the controversy arrived. Without it, the chaos comes earlier, louder, and far more personal. The final is played on July 19th at MetLife Stadium. And it is decided, as so many finals are, by a single moment of referee judgment. A penalty claim in the 88th minute, a defender and a striker going for the same ball. Contact. A fall. 90,000 people in the stadium and 1 billion watching at home all see something slightly different. The referee points to the spot, no review, no graphic, no 4-minute delay while the world holds its breath. Just a decision. The penalty is scored. The game ends. A nation celebrates. The other side calls it the theft of the century. And here is the twist that no one predicted. In a post-match poll of football fans across 40 countries, 61% say they preferred this World Cup to the last one. Not because it was fairer, not because it was more accurate, but because it felt real. The generation that grew up with VR, checking phones during stoppages, arguing about pixel width offsides, watching celebrations die before they even started, that generation discovers something ancient about this sport. Football was never supposed to be perfectly just. It was supposed to be passionately, maddeningly, beautifully human. And VR, for all its precision, had been quietly removing the one thing that made the sport impossible to look away from. At the 2026 World Cup, the technology designed to protect the game malfunctioned on day 4. A system crash, a missing graphic, a scandal that Gary Neville compared to a dictatorship, all before the group stage was even halfway done. The debate is no longer theoretical. It is happening right now, in real stadiums, with real consequences. VAR was built to eliminate human error, but in doing so, it may have eliminated something else. The moment, the spontaneity, the feeling that anything can happen and no machine will take it back. So here's what you need to decide. Is a perfect game worth watching? If it stops feeling like a game,